So, Cathy, thank you very much for coming today. Can you tell us what was your IELTS writing score?
I've got band 8 in my IELTS writing.
Right, that's very impressive. And was that for the academic or the general IELTS test?
I did the academic.
Right, okay. Would you be able to give us some tips for maybe task one, task two, and how you prepared to get such a high score in your IELTS writing?
I hope the tips can help you. My tips, which I brought today, is definitely helpful for my IELTS. So here we go. So So I've got some tips which I can share. So first of all, maybe I can share some general tips. Like for example, to me, I did task two first, and then I did task one because I think it's definitely very important to do task two first, as task two carry more points and it takes more time to accomplish. And also, I think you need to be prepared to memorize some beautiful linking words and phrases as well. Yeah, or else when you're in such a hurry, you can't really remember so many things, and it's very hard for you to use those beautiful linking phrases. And then for task one, so for me, the very important tip would be try to report all the data you see in the exam paper, such as the percentage, etc., and try not to use your personal own judgment to write whatever you think, because you shouldn't add any personal opinions or assumptions. Instead, you should make sure the tone of this passage is objective enough. I guess that's very hard because I know some students, they love to elaborate with what they think based on the data. And that is, I guess, is a common student error. And then for the language part, so you try to use different cohesive devices. So I never repeat the same cohesive device in my writing. For example, if the first time I use although, then the next time I use even though. Or you can also consider some more advanced vocabularies like nonetheless, nevertheless, or albeit. I guess they will help you to impress the examiners and the markers as well. And for the organization for task one, to me, I usually do 4 paragraphs. So the introduction, which I tell the people the background, and remember to paraphrase. Try not to copy everything in the question, and then 2 body paragraphs, and they are definitely the main findings that I can observe. Try to make comparison if you can. If not, then just present all the data factually. And finally, I write an overview as a short conclusion like that to end the passage. So that is for task one. And then for task two.
Great,
So
yeah. It'd be one. So absolutely great tips there. If you don't mind, I'll interrupt there. I really liked what you said in task one about being objective. So that's definitely something that a mistake that a lot of students make is they look at the changing trends, and then they begin to hypothesize about why those trends have changed. And in task one, you don't need to do that. And in fact, you're going to be lowering your score by hypothesizing why the trends have changed. So exactly what you said, be objective and simply report the data, and especially report all the data, because actually reporting all the data is what you need to do to be able to get band 8 and 9, which in your case, you've managed to get band 8, which is very impressive. So thank you, Cathy. Do you think you could take us through task two as well?
yeah, I have some little tips about
Great.
task two. So I'm going to once again talk about it in 3 aspects. So number one, for the content. So because task two is different from task one, well, task one is very objective. Task two indeed is very expressive and subjective. It's testing whether you can express your personal opinions in a very organized and developed way. So for each, because basically it's a little bit argumentative, I would say it that way, even though I know some questions are not argumentative. So first of all, you should think of a strong argument which you have relevant and persuasive supporting details. And today I have brought an example of my mock exam, which I got band 8 in writing academic paper, to share with every one of you. So this is about, the question is about an example paragraph for teaching facts should be omitted and replaced by developing children's soft skills such as interpersonal relationship and exploring children's potential strength. So for me, you see what I wrote. So here comes one paragraph of my writing. So my argument, I mean, my side, my standpoint would be school should teach facts. Okay, so my first argument is there are fake facts on the internet which are hard for children to distinguish from the truth. I think it's very important to to impress your examination marker to know what point you are trying to bring to him or her. And then I further elaborate my point with different, examples, daily examples, real life examples, or some data, etc., etc. And then for the next part, I would like to talk about the language. So remember to bring some beautiful sentence patterns or phrases to your IELTS writing. For example, like in my paragraph which I showed you earlier. So one point which I believe to be absolutely pivotal is the fact that it is an irrefutable fact that nevertheless, etc., etc. I think the advanced vocabularies like pivotal, irrefutable, nevertheless can definitely blow your marker's mind. And finally is the organization. So basically the organization, if you talk about a whole passage, I would say that is somehow like task 1. So here for task 2, I'm going to talk about the structure of each paragraph. So for me, a paragraph is like a hamburger. We should have, the topic sentence, which you tell people your main point, and then some supporting details to support your argument. And finally, you have a concluding sentence to summarize the whole paragraph. So using the same example here, I have my topic sentence as 1 point blah 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 blah, so abundant accurate information on the internet, and my concluding sentence is to echo back to my side. Okay, therefore we can see the need of schools teaching facts. And actually I'm trying to consolidate what I have said in the paragraph and get it back to my side, to support my side, so as to make my passage looks more persuasive and convincing, like that.
Absolutely brilliant tips. So what you did there, and I love that you called it a hamburger method, is very clever, because what you're doing is you've got your topic sentence at the very beginning, and this sentence makes it very clear to the examiner exactly what they're going to read about in that paragraph. So you're going to be, by having a sentence like that, automatically you're going to be getting a high score for coherence and cohesion, which is one of the criteria that you're marked on for your IELTS writing. And then the next thing that's very good about having the topic sentence is the next sentence immediately begins to elaborate and expand on your topic sentence. So you mentioned having supporting ideas. That's an absolutely brilliant thing to do for IELTS writing, especially like you mentioned, actually having examples to back up what you say in your topic sentence. And again, that's the kind of thing that can really boost your score for IELTS writing, because the examiner is saying, okay, I know what I'm going to read about in this paragraph. This is the idea that the candidate is trying to communicate. And as they read the first idea, the second thing they read is all the supporting detail. So they read the example and they read your development of that idea. And so they're already thinking, okay, this student's going to be getting a higher score for coherence and cohesion, as well as fluency and as well as task response. So that's an absolutely brilliant thing to do. And then having a link at the very end of the sentence as well is a very good idea for getting a higher score for coherence and cohesion, because you're wrapping up the idea in your paragraph. So really good ideas there. Mm. So, Cathy, thank you very much for your all of your tips. Absolutely wonderful, and I really think they're going to help a lot of people out there. And thank you very much also for sharing your paragraph from your essay. I think a lot of people are going to really enjoy reading through it and dissecting it and finding all of these nice little phrases and vocabulary that they can use in their own IELTS writing. So, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thanks for inviting me too. I hope the tips can help every one of you.
I'm sure they will. Thank you then.
Bye bye.